News we are tracking at the moment, it's Nancy Pelosi who has now reached the Dalai Lama temple. Six-member United States delegation is in the state of Himachal Pradesh to meet the Dalai Lama. Nancy Pelosi all set to meet Dalai Lama in Himachal Pradesh. This act is making China very angry. China is fuming over Nancy Pelosi's visit. They are warning the United States of resolute measures. Visuals that you see on your screens is of the Dalai Lama temple. Nancy Pelosi, along with 6 members of the delegation, which has come from the United States of America, is at the Dalai Lama temple, the visuals that you see on your screens. After the temple visit, Pelosi is all set to meet Dalai Lama. Our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, is now joining me on the story. Geeta, what will be the implications of what Nancy Pelosi and the delegation will be doing? Because we understand China at the moment is extremely furious with the way in which Nancy Pelosi is all set to meet Dalai Lama.
Well, that's right. The Dalai Lama has always been a matter of contention between India and China. And the fact that the U.S. delegation and a very senior, powerful delegation is in Dharamshala, not just meeting with the Tibetan government in exile, going and visiting the Tibetan parliament in exile yesterday. Today, they are calling on the Dalai Lama and expect the Chinese to react to this as well. There was a very strong reaction yesterday that China urged U.S. delegation not to indulge in political activities for somebody who they say should not be indulging in political activities. They've also urged the U.S. to not engage who they consider secessionist groups and people, given the fact that U.S. does recognize the One China policy. The U.S. has been very clear that they do recognize One China policy. The Tibetans in India also no longer demand free Tibet. They only seek autonomy within Tibet to be able to travel to Tibet, and which is what is the reiteration of the U.S. delegation. But this is not going to be seen very kindly by Beijing. The fact that they had already lodged a protest yesterday, the Chinese embassy here in New Delhi, as also the Chinese Foreign Ministry yesterday in Beijing. And now with the meeting itself taking place with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, it seems like Beijing certainly will be rattled with this. They will consider this provocation, and this certainly is going to elicit yet another reaction from China. The Americans very clear that after passing of the bill in the House and Senate on Tibet, which really goes to enhance more support, American support to the cause of Tibet, this surely is a show of strength and solidarity with the people of Tibet living in India, as also with the spiritual leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Do you believe India will also see some of the impact of the way in which China is reacting? Now, obviously, China has given some sort of a warning to the United States, but do you believe some of the anger might also be directed towards India?
Well, absolutely, Ashwarya. Every time there is anything to do with the Dalai Lama, as also with the Tibetan government in exile, there is a protest that's lodged with India as well, not to allow any activities surrounding the spiritual leader from Tibet, who India has hosted since 1959. So India should be expecting a démarche by the Chinese also, but that does not take away from the fact that India has always maintained that the Dalai Lama and his entire people are guests of India, and that they've been hosted over here because they face persecution in China. And nobody over here actually does anything that is anti-India or secessionist, particularly Ashwarya in nature.
Right.
What they continue to demand is autonomy. And that is something that India also recognizes, Tibet as an autonomous region within China.
Geeta, please stay on with me on the story. Now, Pelosi's visit to India has triggered China. This morning, Nancy Pelosi visited the Dalai Lama temple in Himachal Pradesh's Dharamshala. Pelosi, along with the high-level United States delegation, is in India to meet the Dalai Lama. The 6-member delegation, including the former House Speaker, underscores US's strong support for Tibet amid the ongoing tensions about China's occupation of the region. In a move that is extremely significant, it also has a lot of implications for the United States and China relationships. Pelosi addressed the Tibetan parliament on exile, demonstrating strong support for Tibet. China has been highly critical of Pelosi's visit. They are viewing the Dalai Lama as anti-China separatist and are urging the United States to fully recognize what it calls the separatist nature of the Dalai Lama group.
The Tibetans in exile is very, very important to us. There isn't a word to describe the thrill it is for us to see His Holiness tomorrow. It's something we had anticipated for a while. We'll savor as we enjoy it tomorrow and then draw strength from it as we go forward. Because his inspiration to the world of peace, of goodness, he's the first Nobel laureate to talk about the environment, God's creation. So again, to all of you, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your entrepreneurship and starting a government.